Welcome back, everybody. Terrell and Nadia here with season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne. Nadia, it's been so long since we did a review together. How are you?
I know. Good to be back. As soon as I was like, oh, wait, Nocturne's about to be here, I was like, we got to do this
Yeah.
one together.
Coming to the streaming service that everybody claimed and they swore they was going to quit when the password sharing started cracking down. I can't tell you how many Facebook posts I saw. I'm going with Disney, I'm going with HBO, but Netflix just keeps giving you the content you want. We just got Monday Night Raw. We're getting all the new anime, Sakamoto Days, Castlevania Nocturne. We're getting all the content. I mean, what's an extra dollar? You know what I mean? Like for this level of content. So if you said you're gonna leave, you're lying. You're staying, and this you watching this review is proof that you have not quit the Netflix machine because they keep giving you all the content that you want. Castlevania Nocturne, which is the follow up to and the spinoff of the other Castlevania series, coming to Netflix season 2. It's going to be January, I believe it is the 16th. Make sure. Yep, season 2 premieres on Thursday, January 16th, with another 8 episodes. Before we break this down and get into the actual overall of the show, Nadia, what was your review? I'm sorry, what was your overall thoughts on season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne? Did it do what you needed to do? Did you want more? Were you disappointed? Where you at with it?
I thought it was incredible. I felt like I don't know, I feel like it jumps right into the action. It does, but the story seemed a little slower this season for me. But then everything just kind of ties together like beautifully. Like this season was amazing. It was obviously once again stunning animation. The action is just like jaw dropping. We see like some of the craziest like fights I've seen in animation in a long time.
Yes.
The character arcs are like super impressive. We see a lot of like leveling up. The music is incredible. It touches on like so many themes, and like our beloved characters are like they're growing so much. And I think this for an animation, the character development was like incredible.
Absolutely. Now, I agree with everything, but that first thing you said it felt a little slow to you, and I felt like it, like I said earlier, like it jumped right into it because they did pretty much all the heavy lifting in that first season. Whereas though this one, like we know what we're dealing with. We're picking up from the first season where Erzsebet is trying to you know uh become the vampire god. Was it Sikmet, the goddess of war? And we're picking right back up after that, and we're just jumping into fight. We get a little bit of story there too, but I feel like the pacing is so well done for this to be 8 episodes. I'm like, there's not going to be enough time to do all this one in eight episodes, and I was definitely disappointed. Like you said, the animation is just some of the most top tier animation that I think I've seen from an anime in a while, and this I do consider this an anime to me.
Yeah, it is an
Like as
anime.
far as yeah. And the animation from the regular Castlevania series to this one is definitely two different styles of animation that are used here, which has been absolutely incredible. But overall, like I said, season 2 was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, if I even had to, if I'm giving you a review right now and a score, it's a 10 out of 10 for me personally. Just of how everything followed up. But before I get ahead of myself on that, this is written the series. I think majority of the series is written by Clive Bradley. Want to make sure I get that name right.
Hmm.
Who does I'm not sure if it's the same guy. If it's the same, I'm gonna double check. The same guy who did the original series as well,
Yeah, he
because like
steps in as a
the
new writer taking over Warren Ellis.
okay, I knew I wasn't crazy. I'm like, who was the original guy that they had? But yeah, whereas though like the first season, I'm sorry, the first show is focused
Hmm.
on them taking down Dracula, who he's trying to take out the entire world because humans have killed his wife, and Alucard, and almost said Richter is the other Belmont, and they all take out Dracula in the first season. Whereas this one, I was a little confused in the timeline because I'm like, this is definitely this is after that original series. Almost, I think I want to say like 100 to 200 years or
I
so.
think it was
Probably not that far.
300 years after Trevor Belmont.
Okay. that made, I was like, man, because they were talking about just how different like Alucard looks in this, which I
Mhm.
trying to figure out which style I like better. I think I like this one a little bit more than I did in the first one. But like I said, in this one, like I said, we pick right back up where we left off. Um, let's start back in terms of, like I said, and of the story for season two. Do you felt like you wanted more out of this? Like this gave you everything you needed, or what they were doing? Because like I said, this is basically we're gearing up for war, so we already know the story we're getting. Do you feel like we didn't get enough out of season two?
Um, I think it kind of closed, like tied up a lot of ends.
Yeah,
I feel like with the ending of the first season, like Maria losing her mother as her mother becomes a vampire, and then everything going on between, like, it happened earlier on, but like, Annette losing her friend, and Edward, I think I'm saying it right, Eduardo,
yeah,
dealing with his I guess like internal struggles, like becoming a night creature, but he still has his like spirit, which is different for the night creatures. So even though he's not in this season very much, I feel like every character this season kind of has like closure in a sense.
yeah,
Because not just him, but like Orax and his like situation with his lover, and then we have all the like different villains and like their connections, and then Richter and Annette like love blooming, and seeing like, I don't know, like all these characters kind of mesh together even though they had all their different individual conflicts. This
right,
season kind of like brings them all together, and they all kind of like help each other and assist each other deal. Like even Alucard has more of like an appreciation for humanity this
right.
season. So I think they did like a great job exploring every single character's not only backstory, but kind of tying in to their, you know, inner conflicts and working together as a team. I really thought it was great.
I think the theme of the show is it's complicated, right? Like because everybody's backstory is like, oh my god, and everybody's got a tragic story like in this show.
Absolutely.
That which is what ties them together. And you had mentioned the character development, man. Richter from season one early on to Richter this season, two different characters. Like
Hmm.
I'm like, who is this guy? The way he steps up and the way he handles stuff, not only emotionally, physically, like like you said, levels up. Like you get an experience boost. Like he is the man in the show. He's definitely got to be one of my favorite Belmonts by far. After seeing this and some of the stuff that he can do with his magic, the whip. Like I kind of wish we got more of this action from the Belmonts in the original, which is why I think I like this so much more because Richter absolutely kills it. um Maria, the most annoying character award definitely goes to her. Oh my god. I was, I know this is sound mean, but at some point I'm like, man, I really hope she gets got by a vampire. You know what I mean? Man, she is so annoying, dude. And I understand that she's a kid and teenage angst, but and I always think to myself, why don't I remember acting like this as a kid or as a teenager? Like, when I see this on television, I'm like, a kid's really like that? This is so annoying. Like, you know what I mean? But what are your thoughts on Maria?
I guess similar. She can be really annoying, but also when you
Super
like put
powerful
your,
though.
huh?
So she's super powerful though,
Oh
which is
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
But like when you look at, like, if you put yourself into her shoes and you look at, like, she just found out, like, oh, she just found out who her father is. She just found out that her
Right.
father was like a priest, but he's been making all these horrible monsters. Like her whole life is a lie. Her mom just became a vampire. Like she feels so alone. Like she they even, like, I guess get into it like later when I forgot Richter's grandfather's name, but he tells her your family. Like she's not a Belmont, but like he considers her family. And I think that was
Right.
really important for Maria, especially like essentially losing both of her parents and everything she was going through. She had so much. She was basically like, trying to think of an anime character, but she was basically like the underdog anime character that, like, so much shit happens to them that now they're like, like
Yeah,
everything explodes around them. And like now she's like, I have this power, and she has all this like anger inside of her, and she wants to release it.
right.
And we see a lot of growth from her character too, but it was really cool like seeing how she can like conjure up these monsters, and like her being like a bubbly, like happy go joy character in season 1, and like so like I guess like young and naive, and then like seeing her now like with these abilities, like being like, fuck it, I can conjure up a dragon if I want to, like I can conjure up a wolf like if I want to, like all these things, like she's like, I have the power, I can do this. And it's pretty cool like seeing her, I guess, explore that, and then dealing with like her inner turmoil.
Yeah. You mentioned like her ability, like, and I honestly I kind of didn't think about that either, like the growth that she's had as well, because I feel like her and Richter have similar stories where they both they both lost their mother. The sacrifice had to be made to save a child, and I feel like that's an ongoing theme of the show itself,
Hmm.
for multiple different characters, where a parent has sacrificed themselves for their child, and they now have to carry on that weight and that guilt of surviving the situation. And it's like, okay, where do you pick up from here? Where do you go from here and get stronger to do what they need to do? Or how do you finally see why your parent did what they did and what they saw in you to continue on going forward? Which I think they did a really good job of showcasing that with multiple different characters, with Annette, with Richter, and with Maria,
Hmm.
showing that, like I said, they all have similar stories. um and that I better see more cosplays of that at cons going forward, because and that is absolutely ridiculously cool. Like, she's definitely by far one of my favorite characters. I want a figure right now of and that. Some of the
I
stuff
wanted
that
a
you
net
see her,
figure.
yeah, some of the stuff that you see her do is absolutely incredible. Like the willpower, like she is crazy good. What were your thoughts on Annette? Like, on season 2? Like I said, I know in first season we get her. I feel we got her a lot of it, but I feel like we got way more Annette here, and more of her backstory. What did you think here?
Well, we're definitely gonna see like 4 new cosplays from this
Yeah,
season. That's
I
for
hope
sure.
so.
I
So,
was like,
a couple different
oh
options. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, oh man, I love Annette so much. I think she's one of my favorite characters. I just liked how we also saw her progression. Like that's pretty much what this season was really about. Like everyone exploring their abilities, dealing with their own tragedies, cuz like she also lost her mom. So like that seems to
right.
be an ongoing Batman theme. Everyone lost their parents. But
Yeah,
Annette lost her mom, and similar to Richter, I think that's something they bonded with, like struggling to become their own person and not feeling like they're gonna let down their mom, because like essentially their mom sacrificed like herself for like each child, whatever, Maria's mom, Richter's mom, Annette's mom, like all of their moms basically sacrificed herself for her child. So they even have a conversation, like her and Richter, where it's kind of like, well, I'm pointless as a Belmont, like what's my purpose? And like Annette is like a similar thing, like what am I supposed to do, like why am I still here? What like what's my purpose? Like my bigger purpose? How do we save the world? And like all these things they're going through. And then we like, without getting into too much detail, but like Annette is starting to like see, like have dreams and connect more, I guess, with her like ancestry, and
right.
connect more with her like ancestors. And we really start to see, like, I guess, a new version of her. I'm not really sure going down the line, if we get another season, how that will affect her. But she is a freaking badass, and I love her so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we can go down the list of all the characters here, and we had to be a whole 2 hour show. Uh, but what other character did you want to highlight or talk about that really stood out to you besides those main three?
Hmm. Uh, I guess we could get into like the vampires a little bit. Or you don't want to
Okay,
move on to villains yet. Let's just kind of still deal with the protagonist.
yeah,
Um, Alucard, like I kind of mentioned a little bit, like we start to see him growing more of an appreciation for humanity and being like, that's also my purpose, like life and love and these things can exist. Like not it's not just like all horrible darkness. Like the sun needs to exist. And I like that we saw that and Alucard was a badass. Like literally episode 1 opens up with him like dropping bodies. His
Yeah.
there's so many dope scenes. Like there's a scene like where his flying sword is just like shredding through vampires while he's over here fighting. His sword is still shredding, like just shredding them.
Yeah.
And there's like so many like bodies, and he's just like dropping heads. Like the fight scenes are amazing, and I liked seeing all of them work together. But I really liked a lot of Alucard fight scenes too. They're really dope. And him and Drillta, they have like I think like 5 freaking like boss fights. Like him and
Yeah.
Drillta go up against each other so many times, and I love that like it's such a major challenge for him, and that's pretty cool to see from Alucard and like like the cocky characters that like to see like them being in these like challenging situations.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned the fights, and like I said, I mean the show just takes off and gives you some incredible animation choreography.
Hell yeah.
I think I think the best thing that really gets me in the show is the tag teams, like, or the combination, like when they team up. Really, I swear to you, Nadia, like it had me crying, brought a tear to my eye. Like this was really cool. Like the tag teams with Alucard, the tag teams with Richter, like just overall, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything for everybody, but you'll definitely be amazed, and I think you're going to be holding on to your seat through a lot of like those a lot of the fights, because they are incredibly good. Like I'm telling you, like I want to watch this show again as soon as we finish this, like from beginning to where it is now, where it is now once it gets released. But yeah, it was just absolutely incredible. Talk about some of the villains. Erzsebet being our main villain that we wound up getting late in like season 1, and then into season 2. Do you feel like season 2 really pays it off for her? Did you feel how evil she truly was?
No. I'm trying like not to give like way too much away, but
Right.
one thing that I enjoyed with this season was we did get a little bit of a deeper backstory into each character. Like it takes us like deeper into like the French countryside, but we also see Egypt, and it was pretty cool seeing a little bit of like Sekhmet's past, seeing a little bit of as I can Erzsebet's. I feel like I mixed all their names up. Sekhmet,
I know.
Erzsebet, and Drillta. We see all 3 of their like a little bit, like a glimpse of their backstories. We didn't get too much on Erzsebet, but she was like I believe she was murdered.
You talking about
And
when they had her in the tower or whatever? Like,
yeah.
yeah. So it's like I think she was. They had her like locked up and like put away or whatever for what I didn't really catch much, like whatever crime that she was committing or whatever she was doing to the people. Because I guess she was a ruler or something like that. But she was trying to. They were keeping
Yeah,
her
she
like
was
kind of.
like a noble woman. But
Yeah.
it was cool that we saw like a little glimpse of each of their past, and we kind of see manipulation, but we also see like each of their I'm going to use like power ups and level ups. So each of the
Yeah.
villain basically like a Pokemon like levels up. Well, actually, even the antagonist, even the protagonist level up. Maria leveled up and her hair grows. Like I feel like every
Yeah.
character
What you were
has some
saying.
kind of like Pokemon like status. And like but yeah, all the villains basically like level up to like a new challenge. And I thought that was pretty cool to see. But back to Erzbeth, I feel like there was a lot of like hyper what's the word I'm looking for? Like I felt like she was made up to be like a main antagonist. I
Right.
think I wanted to see a little more of a challenge. She was pretty challenging, but I still
Oh yeah.
feel like, without giving away too much context, like I still wish she was a little bit more of like a messiah, like huge end of the world level threat. But I think she was more like a scapegoat, a mascot, or what's the other word? It's with an M. Like you're fake, but you're the
It's like
image,
the
and
word is flying over my head right
yeah,
now.
yeah, it's like I believe it's with an M, but like it's like a sacrifice for the bigger.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
We come back.
saying.
Yeah.
But
A martyr.
basically, I feel like a martyr. Yes, thank you. That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for. I feel like she's a martyr, like for the end of the world plans that the vampires and noble vampires essentially have. Um, well, what are your thoughts on Esbet? I think Drolta to me is
I'm
my
gonna say
favorite.
I think the overall thing here is like worshiping false gods or
Yes.
believing in the wrong people. Not kind of getting overall of like what the truth is or what somebody believes is the truth, but it's been changed over time. So like the story starts to change because it's being told by other people are telling your story. I think that's the overall theme that we get just out of the show in general.
Hmm.
Because we get the stuff of the Belmonts and how the Belmonts are portrayed by people and what their thoughts on them, what they are, which and we know they're the heroes, and they go around killing vampires, yada yada yada, and Alucard stuff like that. Like everybody had something that they looked up to throughout the show. But yeah, I mean, like she's the big boss, but she's not the big boss. You know what I mean? Like she like you said, like she feels more like a, a puppet to
Like a
yeah. Like I
symbol.
said, without right. And and then she puts on a show. And like you said, but overall, like she was cool. I feel like they kind of gave her backstory where it was just like they found her, and I was just like, oh, okay, that's it. I like you said, I thought it was going to be more of like, oh, we see her childhood. This is why she wanted to be, why she wanted to be, why she was so evil. We don't really get more insight than that, other than she's just evil, just to be evil. And they make a big thing of telling you that too, like throughout the show. Like there's difference between pure evil and just like evil, like oh that they hanging that dude, over there for doing that. That's not evil. They're not like motivated to do stuff, XYZ. So like the show has so much, like so much, like I said, between like the racism and just like how people the classism and stuff throughout the show. This show has so many layers. Like it's not just monster, we fight vampires and monsters.
Mm.
Like it's so deep. Like then
Even the
I'm not trying to
beheading,
over
like of
right.
like kings and the
King Louis, yeah.
humans.
So like I said, it's so much there. Like I said, I mean, the show was good. I mean, you mentioned the music too. Jesus, the music
Ooh.
fits the fight so perfectly. The music of the background, everything so perfectly. What was that like a particular song that like really stood out for you?
Yes, I'm happy you asked. So when Erzsebet asked the abbot to bring back Drolta, I feel like that was a significant moment for me, and it was super eerie. The music's creepy. If you rewatch,
Yeah.
I feel like that song immediately stood out to me, and I was like, some shit is about to go down. Like you're bringing like the night creatures are like a monster in itself, but bringing back like a queen goddess vampire from hell, basically, like how bad is this shit gonna get? And the music was perfect.
Oh, it was bad. Is that I like the way they kind of cut the scene away from the thing and like really build up to it to like
Hmm.
I think it matched very perfectly. But no, like the show, the music, the action, like it was perfect together. Like they found a really good combo there. Um, so we talk about characters. I really say I want to talk about the voice actor, but I don't know the voice actors that well. So because I looked them up, I'm like, oh. So they did a really incredible job. I
Oh yeah.
thought everybody fit their character perfectly, if that makes sense. It's like a
Hmm.
Kevin Conroy to Batman. Like I felt like
Yeah.
that was a really everybody fit who they were supposed to be. And I looked up who was matching, the voice actor to the characters. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that voice. You know what I mean? So the voice acting is incredible for each character. Everybody fit their role perfectly. Whoever the voice casting director for this is, they did a really, really good job of picking the people here.
Mhm.
So the voice acting phenomenal. Nothing to worry about there. we watched it in English. Action was great. Music was great. Story for season 2 was great. Was there anything else on the table here before we wrap this up that you wanted to dive into that we didn't go over? Oh, the cool power ups, the weapons we talked about, the music.
Yeah.
How great season 2 is as a whole.
Yeah, for me, I feel like one of the main things was absolutely the fighting.
Okay.
Battle for
fighting
humanity. I feel like the humans were kind of, I mean, not to say pointless, but like
they were just kind of there. Yeah,
there.
like
And there were some scenes where, like, I don't know, like I felt like they could have utilized them more, even if they are to like not sound horrible, but like to be mauled. I feel like they still could have utilized them a little better, because like Alucard like wants to like gather them to help fight the vampires, and then they just forgot about them. But that's like a minor complaint. Like that's nothing.
They were just kind of like ammunition / food, you know what I mean, in the background, because they really didn't have any humans that really stood out as a character that, outside of the Abbott dude, like the only character that was kind of there, but he was just complicated the whole show. Like, dude, you was just making demon monsters. Now you don't get to be the hero of the story. So like, I don't know. I really didn't like the guy, but he was cool.
Yeah.
But overall, like, the human character, and I'm saying human like Richter and Maria and all them are not human, but you know what I mean. Like,
you know what I mean.
The background character,
the like French revolutionist, all that. Like,
yeah. But the show was absolutely incredible. Like I said, top of my list. Season 1 and 2 combined. I mean, the show as a whole, because it's all one story. But I think season 2 does everything I needed to do, and wraps it quite nicely. Are we getting a season 3? It's still open. It's definitely some potential there with how how things end season 2. But of course, you got to watch that on January 16th and let us know what you thought about it. Nadia, is there anything else before I wrap this that you wanted to?
Just like a little, like 2 quotes that stood out to me. I thought like they were pretty well like written. Basically Alucard kind of explains how they're all part of the same story and how their like connections run deep. And I thought that was pretty like deep for like a vampire to say, and how he, I don't know, like feels a connection to the Belmont like through like their lineages throughout all these hundreds of years. And I thought that was pretty cool to see, like even Maria's story intertwined and Annette's story intertwined, how it was kind of like they were all meant to be brought together. So I thought that was really cool. And then Sekhmet said that the corrupted souls are causing chaos amongst the realms. I don't know, I just thought that was like beautifully written. Basically how everyone is kind of like fucking up all the worlds. So like it's just the greed, whether it comes from humans, whether it comes from vampires, whether it comes from vampire hunters, whether it comes from gods, because even the gods in Annette's world were talking about like we're not supposed to be there. So it just kind of talked about how like even the gods know like their place, and if you're like fucking with the world in ways you're not supposed to, like it's just gonna bring everyone down. And that was pretty cool.
So order for a reason, people.
Yeah.
Castlevania Nocturne on Netflix, January 16th. My review for this, honestly, is a 10 out of 10. Nadia, what would you score it?
I think 8.59, maybe 9.
Apparently, I'm doing too much. 8.5.
I think maybe 9. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like I think I like the first one more.
Really?
I
You
don't
liked it before
know.
everybody got super jacked, like everybody got superpowers?
I just felt like the first season was so beautiful. Like it just
Yeah,
I don't know. It explored so many things like differently and well. I don't know. It was just but
I
I
can see
did
that.
love this. I did love this.
I could definitely see what you mean because there was a lot more time spent with some of the relationships and getting to know some of the characters and like why they tick in the first season. So I could definitely see that. Whereas though this one, like I said, is hitting the gas. You still get a lot of the story, but
Mhm.
just not as I don't think it was as slow and kind of as well paced as it was in the first season.
Yeah, like this is also like a stupid minor complaint. Like it really has
Yeah.
no justification in terms of like my love for this season. But I always go back to like Game of Thrones when it comes to time, the
Mm.
sense of travel. I guess that was just one of my minor gripes. How like I think it was when Maria tried to find her dad, and then like Belmont finds her like 5 minutes after, like just like, and then like her mom finds like I think it's such a stupid minor complaint, but I always go back to
Yeah.
Game of Thrones in the sense of like, well, in this moment it took 300 years to get here, and then in this season it took 5 minutes. So it's just like a very stupid complaint, but like
Yeah.
in this particular season everything kind of happened very like the opportunity was very what's the word that I'm looking for right now? I'm so out of it.
Like you felt like
Everything
it.
was a little too like on the nose in
Okay.
terms of like succeeding in reaching a destination at a particular time kind of thing, but it's a very
Right.
minor complaint. Like I still think this was a
It
phenomenal
was a little too
season.
right. It's a little. It was a little too easy. It was a little too convenient. Like
Yeah.
you wanted them to work a little bit harder for the end. I mean, I feel like they were getting ass whipped in that first season. I feel like they earned this whole last half. So this whole second half of the show. So yeah. But I get what you mean though. I get what you mean. You like to see your character struggle a little bit. But yeah, like I said, Castlevania Nocturne coming to Netflix season 2 January 16th. Make sure you check it out. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought about this review with me and Nadia. If you agree with what we were saying as far as all the points we were making. But other than that, like I said, we're gonna wrap this here. Let us know what you thought about the show. And this has been Terrell and
And
Nadia,
got to
and
be
we're out of here.
later.
See you.
I